It is freezing here in St. Louis. Remember when I was saying how warm it was and getting ready to pull the doors off the Jeep? Yeah, that was a joke. It's in the 40s right now. What's it say? Oh, it's 50 right now. Oh, it's a heat wave. It was freezing today when I had to walk the dog. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting ready to record this week's show, so we're going to be answering your listener questions. So if you have any listener questions, fire away in the comments below. We'll try to get to those and have a good old time. And if we have good answers, we'll put those. If we have bad answers, we'll
probably do those too.
And hopefully you enjoyed our, we had a fun live call-in show last night. If you were with us with Ricky, that was fun. We had two good shows, I have to say, the last couple of Sunday nights.
We did. We had a good time. Yeah.
We had an Azalea Trail Maid call-in.
We did. It was really cool.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
It's really cool.
I had no idea that they were like a traveling thing, like from Mobile, Alabama.
Wow.
I know, pretty sweet. Like she was in the parade and talked about, she met Tinkerbell backstage.
That's very cool.
I'm saying, yeah. I mean, heck yeah. Oh my gosh, it's 18 degrees in New Hampshire.
Oh no!
It shouldn't be this cold. It's almost April.
Oh my goodness, no! That is terrible.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not okay with that. I am not okay with that.
Oh gosh, today the last Monday of March.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yep.
55 and raining up in Oregon. I feel like this is Weather Channel here real quick before we start.
Right.
Hey to Len, William, Jessica, Diane, Jeff, Alfred, Rhonda Lee up in Canada. She probably wins. She's in Canada. Margie and Melissa. Oh, she has a question. Yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, let's do this.
Wait, that's why we're here?
Oh, kind of.
Question?
I did not watch the Oscars, Fulton, but I've heard that might have happened.
I think we've all heard that might have happened.
I didn't watch the Oscars. I watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I saw that it was on. There's a few movies like Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, Ferris Bueller when it's on. And any Star Wars movie, if I'm flipping through the channels, it's on. I'm done. I have to watch it. I have to see Cameron's car fly off.
There you go. Exactly.
Especially now that I've run the Chicago Marathon, because I have to tell everybody in the room, I ran down that road. Yeah, I ran down that road too. Because we were all over it. Yes.
Tim. Yep.
Number 5 is back, baby. We're going to talk about that right now. Let's do it. All right. Welcome to episode 2062 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. We hope this show finds you well. And I am doing spectacularly well for a couple of reasons here as I sit in the Be Our Guest Podcast studios. The weather not being one of those right now. It's a little bit chilly here in the Midwest, but as we're recording, I'm getting ready to head down to Florida this weekend for the spring surprise races. I'll be out there at the 10K and I always want to say the half marathon. There's no half marathon this weekend, the 10 miler. So if you're running, I hope to see you out there in the corrals and on the courses. Please say hello. Don't forget, we're having a podcast meetup at Fantasia Gardens this Saturday at 2 p.m. Bring your putter. If you are a pro, if you're on the circuit, you can bring your own putter. The rest of us, we're just going to use rentals and make the best of it. We're going to have a good time. So be there at Fantasia Gardens, 2:00 sharp for the shotgun start. And no, it's not shotgun start. We use that joke Sunday night.
We did
again. But anyway, hope to meet you there at Fantasia Gardens on Saturday. But more importantly, besides this being the travel show, for everybody that's headed down, safe travels, take us with you. Maybe you're listening on the plane, on the drive down, what have you. But I'm wearing my Cardinal red today in the studio because it is a happy day. It's a day I never thought that I would see again here in St. Louis. It's like Babe Ruth coming back to the Yankees. Hank Aaron coming back to the Braves for one last hurrah. Albert Pujols, the man, the myth, the legend, number 5, back in a Cardinal jersey. I was crying this afternoon when they announced him down in Jupiter. He came walking in from right field, it was like God. It was unbelievable. Oh, my heart.
Wow.
It was amazing, dude. I mean, the rookies in the bullpen didn't know what to do as he passed them. They just stood up and they had to start clapping. I mean, that's how St. Louis is.
Yep.
I know that he's, and Mallory, she's the one that broke the news. I was on the treadmill this morning from 5 to 7. And so I hadn't heard the news, but she gets up super early for school. I look down, I finish my run because it's on Do Not Disturb when I'm on the treadmill. So if anybody ever tries to text me, you can't. But I see when I get off the treadmill, Albert Pujols signed with the Cardinals, and she's never even seen him play, but she's
Oh my
heard
gosh,
all
that's
the
true. She hasn't seen him play.
Cardinals, but I mean, I've only peppered her with stories because she's a huge Cardinals fan. She peppered her with stories my whole life. And so she's all excited. She sends me the text. That warmed my heart. Like my daughter sends me the text that Pujols back. Oh, it's perfect. And so, I'm just like, oh my God, I can't, but it's just like one of those things, because we had heard rumors it might happen, and it did. And it's just, I couldn't be happier right now. And then she gets home from school. She's like, I was thinking about this today. Our team is really old this year. Adam Wainwright, he's old. Yadier Molina, old. Albert's old. I'm like, but I told her, I'm like, I'm old. Like, I'm cool with old dudes playing baseball. One team wins, we're gonna have fun. It's okay. We may win, we may not. We're gonna have a good summer. So anyway, long story short, that's why I'm so happy and so pumped up. It's baseball heaven here in St. Louis. It's like Field of Dreams. People are coming out of corn. It's like the legends are popping out of the corn here in St. Louis. It's gonna be great. So anyway, Ricky can appreciate that.
She's a
Cardinal fan from the mouseforless.com. Ricky, thanks and for letting me just rally here with a little sports radio at the top.
No, you know what? I'm excited too. I actually was talking to a coworker of mine about this. I said, okay, because they're all they either don't care about baseball here or they're all Braves fans. So I went to the only Braves fan that was at work today and was like, I know that you would understand this. And be excited, but Albert Pujols is coming back, and I'm super super pumped. So I'm pumped too, and it's gonna be awesome getting to see Wainwright and Yachty and Pujols one last time. I know this is the last time. I thought last year was the last time I was gonna see Yachty. I'm so excited that I get to see him this year. And I'm excited because the Braves are playing the Cardinals July 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I'm going to have to buy tickets for at least one of those games so I can see my favorite three players play one more time. So I'm excited. I'm so excited.
So real quick, do this to your Braves fan friend. Just be like, just picture it. It's like Freddie Freeman coming back 12 years from now from the Dodgers.
Yeah, that was kind of it. Yeah, we did have that conversation. Yes. Too soon. Definitely too soon. Yes.
That's a rough wound right now. At least they're the world champions.
That's right.
That's like sticking a dagger in it right there. A couple weeks into the whole thing. Anyway, also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forster. Pam, it'd be like Kutch coming back to the Pirates for one last.
Oh my gosh! Right?
Or, I don't know, Terry Bradshaw coming back to the Steelers.
I know, right? Yeah, we have a lot of Pittsburgh legends here for sure, and I keep wanting to watch the show that Terry Bradshaw has with his family. Apparently, it's hysterical. Yeah. So I've never seen it, but yes, for sure, he's quite the character. I hear. So who knows?
Yes. So how are things in Pittsburgh? Spring is not springing for most of us. I'm forcing it by going to Florida. That's the only way I can make it happen right now.
It's so sad, that we got that taste of it, right? That makes the cold when it comes back 100 times worse.
Yeah,
and dreary.
It does.
All back. Oh my gosh. So yeah, but sometime later in the week, it's supposed to be in the 60s. So
yeah, fake news.
I know, right?
Okay. All right. So let's get to the questions. We have a question here. I got to hit this one because this is a fellow cheer dad with a question. It says, Rookie Cheer Dad. It's from Robbie Beal in Frederick, Maryland, 939 miles from Disney. Says, hey, Mike, BOGP crew. New cheer dad here. This past weekend, my daughter's cheer team received a bid to Worlds. Now, if you don't know what Worlds is, Mallory's going to Summit, which is pretty awesome. And Dawn Baker's child is going to D2 Summit, which is awesome as well. But Worlds, they're the best teams in the world.
Wow.
They're way better. They're like the ultimate, best teams. They're there a week before us.
Nice.
So they're down there in about 2.5, 3 weeks. Anyway, in anticipation of this, we had already booked resort packages at Pop with 5 single-day park tickets. Worlds registration comes with an additional 3-day park hopper ticket. My understanding is once we receive those park hopper tickets, we simply assign them to each member of our party through the My Disney Experience app. My question is, how do we manage scanning in at the parks when we have different ticket types? Do we have to inform the cast members which ticket type we're using each day, or is it Disney system intuitive enough to know to use a single day ticket for the days we do not hop and only use the park hopper tickets on the days we do hop? Thanks for all you do, Robbie. So basically, and this happens, I think, with a lot of people, that you might have two different things, because basically what happens is it's a big package that the cheer groups put together, and every athlete and family member has to purchase a 3-day hopper. It's called, I forget what it's called. It's got some special name, but you have to have that as part of your cheer package. But he was already, with a regular, probably Walt Disney travel company package. So Pam, how do you do that? What I would do is I would tell the person right past the touch points with the iPad, look, I just scanned in. Can you check and see which ticket got pulled, just to be safe each time? I mean, it's going to take 5 minutes or less, and I would have peace of mind. But what would you offer?
Yeah, I agree with that too, to make sure that, I mean, you do assign the tickets to the right person when you link them. So that will already be taken care of. But you do want to make sure that the right tickets are being used on, the right days. It's challenging, I will say. You can go and have them prioritize tickets, but even that is challenging at different times. So I agree with what Mike said. And the funny thing is, the app oftentimes doesn't show what ticket you used until a day or days later. It's the weirdest thing. It really is. Like, you would think, right? You scan in, then you could look at the tickets on your app and then see which one was used. It doesn't work like that. It's just, it doesn't do that. Disney can see it, but it just doesn't show on the app. So.
And Corwin's mentioned in the live chat 2 different Magic Bands, but that won't work because Magic Bands are just tied back to a My Disney Experience account. So, I have 50 Magic Bands, but it's still going back to one My Disney Experience account. So creative idea, but that wouldn't solve that issue. I wish. That'd be kind of a good idea. Len's got a question here from Maryland. I like this one because it's about this weekend. He says, stupid question, but what's the surprise in the spring surprise race weekend? Well, a lot of people actually asked this over the past few months. What it was that there was this used to be the Star Wars race weekend, the April race weekend, the last one of the Run Disney season. And they just kind of had this as a placeholder. They decided they weren't going to do Star Wars, but they did not put a theme out there. There was just like nothing. And so they announced that they were going to have a race weekend, but they did not have a theme. And it was just like, so then I guess, I don't know, like really how this all went down, but it was just the surprise race weekend.
I think the surprise was the fact that they were bringing back races that they had previously retired. So
but we didn't know what races. Like, yeah, that was it. Like they were going to surprise us with special races, but when we signed up, we had no idea. Well, I mean, I signed up late, but most people signed up kind of on blind faith.
Wait, they signed up without knowing what races they were running? Oh,
right. I think that you didn't know what races there were when you signed. I think, is that right, or am I wrong?
I mean, you would have to know what races you were signing up for.
Yeah, the dates. You just didn't know what the theme was going to be.
Yeah. So I'm sure that it was like surprise.
Yeah, that's right. Because what it is, basically, the surprise is they brought back retired races. They brought back Expedition Everest 5K, Race for the Taste 10K, and the Tower of Terror 10 miler.
Yeah.
So there we go. Question: to Derby or not to Derby? And this has nothing to do with the state of Kentucky. I thought it would, but it doesn't. Sherry says, "Hey y'all, I have a trip coming up in May and just got my dining. I hear so much about the Hollywood Brown Derby and thought I would try it. I have a reservation for my arrival day at 5 p.m. with the park closing at 9 p.m. I anticipate us getting to the parks around 3 and will use my morning to acquire and stack some Lightning Lane passes, assuming the Genie times are working in my favor. So my question is, do you think we'll have time to have a dinner at HBD, Hollywood Brown Derby, and get lots of things done? Or should I cancel it so I'm not nailed down to eating at a specific time, allowing me some flexibility as I book things on Genie Plus? If I cancel, do you have any recommendations? We would like to go to Pizza Rizzo and eat in the wedding banquet room, but I'm thinking that's a good idea.
It is, but I will share just before we forget, that restaurant does close early a lot of times. So a lot of times they close at like 4. So just a heads up.
What's up with that?
I don't know, but
wedding receptions before 4.
I know, right? So you may want to just check to see if it's open later. We'd like to go to Pizza Rizzo and eat in the wedding banquet room, but I'm thinking of branching out this time. Thanks so much. Sherry's in Dallas. P.S. I'm taking Pam's advice and eating where we stay as well. I have reservations at every restaurant at the Yacht and Beach and hope to get to at least one lounge. We did Ale and Compass Lounge back in January, so I'm hoping to try the other one this time. Okay, here's my first. I'm just going to hit this general rule for me.
I do not like ADRs on your arrival day. It makes the day a little bit more stressful than it needs to be because you're trying to hit an ADR. Where if you get a delayed flight, you get a little bit stressed, you start rushing, maybe your room isn't ready and you wanted that to be ready. I just like to counter service it on arrival day and have my ADR start the first full day. That's just kind of a general rule of thumb. So Ricky, what do you think about her situation here as far as she thinks she'll be at the park at 3, park closes at 9, wants to do a lot, but has a Hollywood Brown Derby reservation at what time did she say? 5?
Yeah. I think if it was me, I'm thinking I'm leaning more toward canceling that and maybe getting something quick service. Although Hollywood Studios does not have my favorite quick service restaurants. So there is that too. I mean, you can't go wrong with tachos though at, Woody's Lunchbox. So that's kind of my, last minute option for her, I guess, if she wants to go that route. But I might cancel just so that I am free to have a little more time, because once you do have that dining reservation, you are locked in, and you're locked in at least for, at least an hour, probably a little longer than that, probably an hour and a half. So you won't get done until about 6:30 or so. So, with such a limited time, I might cancel it, even though they're hoping to get, Genie Plus attractions under their belt. You may have an attraction that comes up during that time period too. So I would probably cancel and try something else if that was me.
Yeah, I would. And Craig's offering up, what about Baseline Tap House? They really don't have food. They have more drinks.
They do. I mean, they do have the charcuterie board. Ding that.
Yeah, but
that's not. Hey, that could be dinner for me and Brian. Charcuterie board and pretzel is good dinner for me. So
I agree.
Not me. Travel day, I need a little bit more substance. John actually in the live chat has my suggestion. I would just go to ABC Commissary. They have really come a long way.
Yeah.
Because it used to be Backlot Express. I've now moved to the commissary. But Pam, what are your thoughts? I mean, do you like Hollywood Brown Derby? Is it worth trying to make that?
We actually eat at the lounge often, more so than inside. We eat at the Hollywood Brown Derby lounge. The challenge with that is that it does get busy, and sometimes you have to wait, and that's not always ideal either. I think that the meal on your first night is really sort of dependent upon what kind of traveler you are. Typically, Steve and I are up early. We're getting a flight in the morning. We've done stuff during the day, and by the evening we want to take a breath and sit and enjoy something, right? And just sit there and sort of watch the world go by. And we would probably eat at the Brown Derby Lounge or at Baseline Tap House. I agree with Ricky. Charcuterie can always be a meal, especially when it's paired with a pretzel and a beer.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's called a snack for me.
So definitely consider that. Look at Baseline and see what you think of that menu, and look at the Brown Derby Lounge and see what you think of that menu too, because it is different than the menu inside. The challenge, I think, with Hollywood Studio is that there are not really great places. The quick service, I don't think they're that good. I just don't. Dang. And that always makes it challenging. It really does. But if you would be happy just snacking and maybe enjoying a little bit of, downtown, taking your chances on Baseline and Hollywood Brown Derby, you can easily sort of fit those in between your lightning lane reservations. So that's something to think of too. But if you really are feeling like you're going to want a sit down meal, I don't see a problem with keeping it that day if that's what you're going to like. But if it's not that important to you, then I'd probably just move along so that it gives you a little more flexibility.
Here's my wild card for a counter service at the studios. And I'm not kidding about this. I use mobile order, and I know you're trying to maximize your time at the studios, but I hop on the Skyliner and I go to Primo Piatto at the Riviera. Great food, mobile order. And then you can have it already almost, so you're maximizing your time. You can literally walk out of the front of the Hollywood Studios, get to the Riviera in probably 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. By the time you walk there, it's probably 10 minutes. If your food's ready, that's 5 more minutes. You have your meal. You can probably be back to the studios in 45 minutes.
And
be
Bar
back.
Riva is a good choice there too. The pool bar down there, we eat there all the time too. You actually get most of the menu from Primo Piatti, and then they have a few other things too to choose from. I know, sticking. What a surprise! I'm sticking in another lounge choice, but we end up eating there often too. And it's a great location. They have some good bartenders there. So
just kind of thinking outside the box. I know you want to be in the studios, but I mean, you get to ride the Skyliner. That's relaxing, and it's it'll be really chill over there.
Yeah.
Super good food. I mean, super good food. And by the way, Scott is down at Walt Disney World. He's been there since last weekend. And this is just what I guess your best bud does, right? He texts me every time he eats something. And like today, I sit down to lunch having a terrible looking turkey sandwich with baked chips. And he's going around World Showcase and eating at every food flower and garden.
That sounds right.
Yes. Killing me. He had this good looking taco.
Nice.
Oh man, he had everything. It was so good. Anyway, back to the show. I can't complain. I'll be down there this weekend. Melissa says, I've been wanting to book a fireworks dessert pre-party, and I've heard that they haven't been releasing new dates for the last week. Wanting to go over Memorial Day weekend. Any word on when they're going to release more dates? Ricky, have they called you and given you the 411 yet?
I have no details either. So no idea, what the holdup is or, whatever. I know before the pandemic, they did release them at only a couple of months before, which maybe they're back to that maddening schedule, which I know frustrated people a lot before COVID. It was just like, when are they going to release it? And then it was literally a month and a half before. So who knows if they're back on that schedule or not. I would suspect so if this is what we're getting, if we're getting these messages again already. So we'll see.
If we talk about it, usually things happen. We just have a knack.
We do have an app.
I think too, it's a good reflection that they're still tweaking park hours. That's what typically holds that up. That's what we've seen in the past. Let's just say we can assume that because it's not available, that they're probably still looking at park hours. Of course, they, what they say about assuming, but let's just say that's a fairly safe assumption on this part that you may see some fluctuation in the park hours. So, and that's expected too.
Well, how exciting is it that the theme parks in general are now opening at 8:30 in the morning, and some theme parks are staying open until 11 o'clock at night.
That's just great.
Think about where we were 18 months ago. We had parks opening at 11 o'clock in the morning, Epcot, and some of the theme parks were closing at 7 o'clock in the evening. I know it felt like it was going at a snail's pace, but we have made, and again, let's hope everything continues to move in the same momentum in the same direction. We never know how the future is going to go, but we got to kind of take a step back every once in a while and just look at this is good.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of time.
Good.
Very good. Yeah, exactly.
Because it's really good, because right now, because here's the greatest thing I've always enjoyed about going to Walt Disney World in the summer, just real quick, is that if you're a morning person, right now you can really enjoy the parks in the morning, right? You can get there at 8:30, if it's the early morning hours, 8 o'clock, you can start getting your day going. So if you're a morning person, you can get up and get rocking, and if you're a night person, you can be at the Magic Kingdom till 11 o'clock at night.
That's me.
That's kind of, that gives both people kind of option.
That's true.
And if you're crazy and you do all day, holy cow, you have more strength than I do. I can't imagine. I couldn't do it. I used to be able to. I just can't anymore. I can't.
Mike's getting old.
I am getting old. I admit it, just like the old dudes on the Cardinals. Stephanie has a question. Hey, I'm headed down to Disney tomorrow with my daughter for spring break. My mom lives in Florida and now says she wants to join us. There isn't much left as far as theme park reservations. What now? Winter Summerland is pretty fun. Disney Springs, I've heard, is pretty cool too. Seriously, once the theme park reservations are gone, you just got to keep checking. But typically they're gone. They're gone.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much you can do.
Nope, unfortunately.
And she says, "Do I just keep stalking the website?"
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you do. You just try.
Yep.
And know that if you have Park Hopper, then you can all go to the same. You can all be in the same park after 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
That is the beauty of the Park Hopper. It gets you
is.
around the park reservation system after 2.
Yeah.
But you got to, you got to get in a park. See, Nicole's got a question. Hey, everyone. My husband, 8 and 5-year-old daughters, and I are going at the end of April, the first week of May. I'll be there at the same time. Look for me. So excited for the Flower and Garden Festival and looking forward to hopefully pool weather. Yes, me too. Question. We want to utilize Genie Plus, but plan on taking midday breaks. Since we can't choose times for Lightning Lane rides, any tips for successfully getting rides while still being able to take a break? Worried about only being able to get times when we will be taking breaks. Ricky, what would you do? Because you're right. You just kind of have to roll with the availability, and you don't really want to get them, say they're going to be at the pool from noon to 3. I mean, what strategies would you use in that case?
Yeah, this is tough because, I mean, I actually haven't utilized Genie Plus yet. I just haven't had the opportunity while I've been down there. Every time, it's Brian and I, and we're just not on the right schedule to try to utilize Genie Plus. So I still am like unsure as to how the whole process. I know from what I've heard, don't they just kind of give you times? And is that kind of how it works, Pam? You've used it, right?
It does. I mean, you do have times. When I use it, I pick the next available time and then go with that. Because I just, I don't have any real, I don't have any, I have to do this, or my vacation's not that. So I just go with what's there. And I think a lot of people are using that strategy. I think it's not, just don't pick during that time. You can leave yourself a gap. They will show you what's available, and you'll just have to make a choice at some point. Okay, I'm not going to pick this. I'm going to pick this one because this is that. You'll be able to build that gap in. If you're talking about the individual Lightning Lane, that's a little different. You really just have to take it because the attractions that are available with the individual Lightning Lane, especially when we're looking at the ones, they've added new ones to the standard Genie Plus Lightning Lane. So there's really not that many attractions that you need to use the individual Lightning Lane, and you just take whatever you can get because they're going to go within a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes. But yeah, when you're using the Genie Plus Lightning Lane, I think you'll be able to schedule that time in there and you'll be okay.
And this is why I love being able to record live here with our audience and just having the audience that we do. Suzanne's in our live chat, and she says, we kept getting Genie Plus reservations while we were out of the park for our midday break. Sometimes we would watch the times available and wait a half an hour or so and check again to see if the return times got later. We ended up having 3 Genie Plus reservations. Let's see, it went away in hand by the time we went back to the park. So there you go. Just kind of, everything's going to shift later in the day as you wait it out a little bit and just kind of write it out. Maybe have the, if you're at the pool, just have the, have the phone in hand and maybe set an alarm for 45 minutes later, just do a recheck and see what the times are and then book what you need. Say you're going to be back at 4:30, kind of wait until everything shifts that way. That's good thought. Len's asking, do you think the 2:00 start time for Park Hopper is here to stay? Will it ever go back to all day Park Hopper? Optimistically, I would think that it would go back to just regular old Park Hopper at some point, but who knows? I have no idea. I think that maybe it will go back to just park hopping willy-nilly. But
I think, I'm with you. We don't know anything officially, but I would assume that it would have to go back. People's frustration with it is, of course, you have to wait until after 2. Which like in that instance where that family is kind of locked out of grandma can't go until after 2 now at this point. It makes it really tough for touring, especially with the park reservation system when you have instances like that. And B, obviously we've seen a lot of complaints about the fact that, hey, I'm paying extra for this and I'm limited on the amount of time, my ability to actually do what I'm paying for. Now, granted, what you're paying for at this point. So that you're going to have to wait until 2:00, but it's still a bit of a frustration point. So I get that. Personally, I'd love to see it go back. I park hop a lot. And so, having the ability to just jump before that 2:00 time period. Now, granted, most of the time I'm not in the parks before 2:00 in the first place. So I haven't even hit my first park by then, but still, it'd be nice to have the option. So I'd like to see it come back before 2:00. And I hope optimistically that it does.
Yeah, I do too. It's one of those things that I don't know. Typically, I don't park hop before 2 anyway. When I think about it, I think, oh my gosh, it's restrictive. But then when it comes into practice, most of the time, I'm probably not going to hop before 2:00 anyhow. So it really doesn't come into play for me hardly ever. I thought it would, but it doesn't. I don't know. I think it's just one of those things in the back of your mind. We wish, I think we always want the least restrictive, but Practically, how often does it?
I agree. That was really my experience too. At first, I was kind of like, "Oh, dang, I can't park hop before 2." But then when I really thought about it, I was like, "Well, you know what? We probably didn't do much park hopping before 2.
Right.
The only exception to that maybe would have been we would hop over to Epcot maybe when it had opened, like at 11, right when World Showcase opened.
Yeah.
Right. But at this point, we just sort of work around that, and we'll grab lunch maybe at Ale and Compass or over at the Boardwalk Bakery or something, and then go into Epcot. So, I mean, it still really seems to work for us. And, you know, I understand the frustration that people are really, you know, hoping that it gets more fluid, right, than it used to be. And I think the challenge with that is that there are definitely advantages for both guests and Disney alike with the park reservation system. It just is. And it allows for a planning, especially with cast, right, that they desperately need right now. If they did not have the park reservation system, I think that you would see other things severely impacted because they just don't have a good sense of how to staff up. And I think it's having that park reservation system and knowing where to have cast available has allowed them to keep expanding offerings in that space. So I think it's really an advantage to everyone right now, as much as we may not want it to.
As much as it's a frustration. And, you know, who knows, maybe with the fact that the international cast members are coming back, like Mike and I, you know, have talked about, which you guys will hear tomorrow on, you know, on Thursday's show. But, you know, we talked about the fact that with them coming back and coming back to roles in World Showcase, it becomes a domino effect. And then those cast members who were in World Showcase because they needed to fill those positions can now move over to other roles. Now hopefully opening things up for other areas. So, you know, again, it is a domino effect. And hopefully maybe with this change, we can change the, you know, park hopping option, or hey, maybe even getting rid of the whole park reservation system, which again, I don't see us ever getting rid of. What I'd love to, but I don't see it happening. So,
I mean, as a guest, I mean, just purely speaking as a guest, not as a travel agent, not as a professional, I would love the park reservation system to go away tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like that's me, because it's one of those things. Like I don't like to have to think. I like going down to
and just making a choice that day.
I'm going to the theme parks, you know, and because I've done the bus roulette thing, you know, I've done that, you know, just like I don't care what, because I mean, I've been to the parks enough that it doesn't really matter that much, you know, where I can't do that. But as Pam said, without it right now, the way the labor market is and the way the world is right now, it is a necessary thing for guest satisfaction. I know guest satisfaction on the front end, nobody wants to have to plan their days. I get that. But the experience at the parks would not be the same without it right now because of staffing. Staffing would be a mess. I mean, it would. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, you wouldn't have enough people at the right parks.
Exactly.
If everybody went to the Magic Kingdom and they didn't have it staffed, knowing who's going to be there, it could be a nightmare.
It could be. So,
yeah, I see where we are. Okay, Caitlin's got a question. This one just came in 9 hours ago, by the way, as we're recording. So you might think it's about Spring Surprise. Too late, Mike. But hey, it just came in, so I'm getting to it right now. Hey, BOGP crew, using Disney math, it made more sense to go down one night early for Spring Surprise weekend. Unfortunately, my original resort, Coronado, was not available, so I'll be at All-Star Music Friday before the race. My first split stay. Welcome to the club.
Yes.
Is Disney still transferring luggage for split stays? If so, how reliable is it to use Disney to transfer as opposed to getting an Uber or Lyft and transferring the luggage myself? Normally, I just allow Disney to transfer, but it being the day before the race makes me nervous. Thanks in advance, Caitlin. Caitlin, you just made me nervous. That's why I answered this question right now. Do the Uber Lyft thing, especially if you're taking your sneakers, anything you need for the races. They are transferring luggage, and it is reliable. It will get there. But I still go back to that weekend when we were all down there. It was marathon weekend, and I went from Pop Century to Beach Club. So I was like moving on up like George Jefferson, man. I was excited. From a value to a deluxe. I don't know why I thought my luggage would get there in like 28 minutes because I was going to the Beach Club. Stupid. Nope. It took like 9 hours, and stupider, Mike put his running shoes in the luggage that was being transferred. So I could not lay my stuff out the night before. I was sweating it. It all got there. It was fine. But I was freaking out. You can ask Scott because I was just all over everybody. Like, where's the luggage? I'll go find the cargo truck. I'll go get it. I'll run if I have to. It's not that far to Pop Century. I was freaking out. But if you're worried about it now enough to write an email to a podcast, I'd just grab an Uber Lyft, take yourself with you, and go over. Seriously, I mean, it's reliable, Pam, but I would do it for like a vacation. I probably wouldn't do it if I'm running stuff.
Yeah, like you. It is reliable. It is going to get there. I mean, I really have never heard of them permanently losing something, right? But
I'm sure it happens. Let's hope it does.
But but the thing is, like Mike, I will spend the $15 all day to make sure that I know my luggage is there. I have personally handed it over to Bell Services. I know it's at my resort, and I know it will be there when I'm there. And whenever I get back to the resort, even if my room's not ready, I know it's at the resort that I'm at. And it's absolutely worth it to do that. And I don't even know that Uber would even be $15. It probably is going to be less, depending on, the time of day and surge pricing. But just, I would say absolutely take it yourself. You're going to need it, and you don't want to have to think about it. I think that peace of mind and comfort is worth something. Sometimes people, if we're looking to cut in somewhere, right, we can be like, oh, that's silly. Like, I don't need fill in the blank. But then it's like your comfort and your peace of mind, it's worth a little something. So I would absolutely take the Uber over.
And a loaf of bread costs $15 right now, Pam. So Uber ride might be. I'll tell you when
I do my own grocery shopping. Do you think somehow I have someone who does that for me?
Just saying.
She might.
For one, I was going to say, but I was going to wrap this one up by I think gambling is legal in Florida, but I wouldn't gamble with myself getting there on time for the race. I would just get in the Uber. So there you go. But also, speaking of gambling, over under, I'm going to say that Uber ride from, I don't know where she's, Music to Coronado.
Right.
Pretty close, but I'm taking the over up by the time you put the tip in on $15.
There you go. Yes.
Like $6, but I bet you it's more now.
I know. And we tend to order the XL. It doesn't matter if it's just Steve and I. He's like, I don't want to be sitting holding my luggage. I want the XL. So I'm like, okay, whatever.
Nope, me, man. I'm in the back of the Accord, holding onto my luggage like this. I'm like, I'm saving $7. All the way to the airport, baby. Okay, Alan's got a question. I think this one's good for Ricky. We have a trip staying on site, checking into Fort Wilderness June 3rd. I have a work trip in mid-May staying off site, but we're getting a couple of days in the parks. Can I make dining reservations at the 60-day mark for my May trip, or will this create an issue for my June trip? The option is available in the app, but my May tickets are not linked yet. So he's on site in June.
Yep.
He's off site in May.
No tickets for May, right? They're
not linked at least.
Not linked.
He doesn't because it looks like. But what would you do in this case though?
I mean, I'm gonna make my reservations because the good news is it's not linked at all. So you can make those reservations 60 days in advance, whether you're staying on site or off site, and they will not impact your future trip either. So you're good to go. Make those reservations. Get what you want.
Dine away.
Dine, baby, dine.
Let's see. Matt's got a question here. He's watching on YouTube. What Epcot dining establishment is your go-to for concert packages and processional? Best value pick and easiest to get? Thanks. The answer is Beer Garden.
I knew you were going to say
that. Yeah, how did we not know?
I don't even drink beer, and I don't even I don't drink BEER or BIER or any kind of spelling of beer. But I just like the place, man. It's got a Oompa band. It looks like a little Bavarian town, and the food is rocking.
Not even a Schafferhofer? You won't even do that?
I don't even know what a Schafferhofer is.
He doesn't know.
I don't even know if I got to delete that out of here to keep our clean. We'll go with it because this is a family podcast.
That's right.
But I would go Beer Garden.
Okay.
So what would you say, Ricky?
The good news is here's the restaurants you get to choose from because there's only a select number of restaurants that you can choose the Garden Rocks Concert Series package for. So you have Beer Garden. So Mike, you're good. You're good. Okay.
Mike's good.
And by the way, Beer Garden is the cheapest option by $1.
I'm telling you, hey, man, $1 goes. You got that Uber ride. That could be your tip.
That's right.
Part of your tip.
You have Coral Reef, you have the Garden Grill, and you have Rose and Crown. So out of those four choices, Mike got one right just by guessing. I love Garden.
Keep ringing that bell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love Garden Grill. I think Garden Grill is a really good choice. Brian and I go there at least like once a year, and we have a really, really good time there. So I'm gonna go with Garden Grill, but I think I have a feeling of what Pam's gonna go with. So
yeah, I'm going with Rosencrown.
Yeah.
You are having. See, the funny thing is, I'm going to Beer Garden, not having beer. You're going to Rosencrown
and having a beer. Yes,
definitely having a beer. Yes, and I'm hoping to sit outside because that outside area is so nice. Plus, you can choose from fish and chips. They also have a cheese plate there. Again, yes. It's not quite charcuterie, but it is a cheese plate and very good in its own right. They have some good choices, some different things. They have a curry typically, stuff like that. But fish and chips are good there, and it's just always relaxing. So
just as a heads up, if they're looking for a consensus, Rosencrown is I agree with Pam. That's the option they should go with if they don't go to Garden Grill or Beer Garden. I roll my eyes very heavily at the Beer Garden, but whatever.
We actually did have a good meal there last year, I will say. It is different. It was fun. They were not doing the tiki oi 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 because that was too much celebrating, but I think that we're allowed to celebrate again.
Oh, good.
I don't know if there's been an official handing down of that memo, if it's gone out to all the Disney restaurants or not, but I think we're allowed to celebrate again. So you may be able to do that. We'll see.
No, I think the CDC has announced that that Longhorn is now compliant with all.
Well, so funny thing was they were doing the horn, the Alpine horn.
The bells are not spitting into whoa.
The whole thing.
Oh my goodness!
The Ricola horn was there and being used.
Ricola. You're hitting people on the second level with that thing, man.
Oh, seriously? Yes.
I've been hitting it since 1982. Oh my God, that's so funny. You know what though? When I'm down there, I'm trying to tag onto some of Scott's ADRs, and I know one night he's got Space 220, so it's unlikely I'll get on that one. So don't doubt that I may be eating a Beer Garden.
He's gonna go to Beer Garden. He's like, let's
go.
With all my new friends at the table there, so watch for a picture.
I like it.
See here, Seth, my good buddy down in Louisiana, Mandeville, Louisiana, says, "Hey, Mike and BOGP crew, hope all is well with everyone. As always, love the show. Keep them coming. Quick question. We're making our annual trek to Wilderness Lodge in early June. We would like to take advantage of early theme park entry and would like your opinion. If the parking lots open up an hour before early entry and the buses run an hour early as well, which do you think would be better to take from the lodge to get to the studios? Our truck or the dreaded buses? Many thanks, my friend. Take care, Seth. Would you drive the truck? Depends what kind of truck. Is it a cool truck? Is it like a big F-150? Is it a Silverado or is it I don't know. I don't think it matters, but that'd be kind of cool to know. I'm picturing him from Louisiana. I'm just picturing all my LSU, SEC friends. It's got to be like a Silverado. It's got to be like purple and gold. But maybe not. Or take the bus. Seriously. I'm just a Disney transport guy. I'd be on the very first bus. I'd make sure I'm on the first bus though, because after the first bus, you're jockeying for position, man. You're throwing elbows, and it's all it's like it's interactive cues at that point to get on the bus. But I'd be on the first bus. Pam, what about you? Would you drive? Because you're a driver sometimes. What'd you do?
I know, but I'm gonna say, especially for these early entry times, I think that the bus is the way to go. They actually really usually have a bunch of buses coming through in the morning to get you there on time. That they know that people could lose their religion that early in the morning if they got their family up there and at the bus stop in order to be there for early entry, and the buses didn't come on a regular schedule. They know that there'd be issues. So I think that they typically do a pretty good job with that, and that's where I would go. I know, right? And we usually do drive, but I've seen the advantage to the bus thing. So
yeah, I'm a busser. What about you, Ricky? You always have a car too. What would you do?
I do always have a car. I think I'm gonna go with Pam though. I think I agree. I think bus is the right option for this. Just because Disney does know that they have that early morning, so they're gonna try their best to get you there early. Yeah, I mean, can't promise, but I mean, and let's be honest, if it starts to get later than you're comfortable with, and there hasn't been a bus yet, go ahead and get in your car. But I think for the most part, you're gonna be fine taking the bus.
All right, we have one last question from Alfred. He's asking, do you think the Mary Poppins attraction will occur or totally canceled? They say it's on pause. Do you think Epcot will be finished too? I think Epcot will get finished in its modified fashion that they're finishing right now. I think Mary Poppins will be later, way, way later, if at all, because I don't think it was really, I think that was kind of like a plan F. Like it didn't have many details. It was kind of like if A, B, and C pan out,
right,
then this will happen. But I don't think there's a lot of fervor for it, and I think this is something easily could be scrapped.
And let's be honest, the Mary Poppins attraction was never officially announced as a ride. It was always an attraction, and an attraction can be something like a fancy meet and greet, like Enchanted Tales with Belle. So it could have been a fancy, meet Mary Poppins. I mean, it may not have been a ride, and I highly suspect it wasn't a ride. So, I don't know if they'll build it or not. They do say it's on pause. So maybe, obviously, Mike, you're right. They're going to finish what they've started. And they've started a lot. We're not going to get that, the pavilion for if to replace the play what's supposed to be the play pavilion. We haven't even gotten that yet, and that was announced a long time ago, so I don't know if that'll ever happen either at this point, but
I think I bet you that opens by the beginning of next year, because they're working on that thing.
Are they?
I mean,
I haven't seen them working on that one, so okay, that's good. But they were supposed to build because that pavilion was where they had all the seminars and things like that for all the festivals. So they were supposed to build like a seminar, location basically in the middle of Future World. And I don't think that's happening now. So I think they are going to rework some of that part. But yeah, I don't know about the Mary Poppins thing, but I think people were hoping it would be a ride. It wasn't going to be a ride. So,
I mean, the way I see it is like, you got to look at Disney from the business perspective. Like a Mary Poppins thing in the UK, there's not a lot of ROI on that, right? There's not a people that are like dying to buy merchandise surrounding any kind of Mary Poppins franchise.
And Mary Poppins Returns did not do what they expected.
It didn't do well. Yeah, it didn't do very well. And it's just, I mean, it's cute and everything, and it would be an addition, but it's not going to be something that's going to be marketable very much. Right. It's not going to be, people are going to be knocking down the doors, booking vacations.
I'm sorry, but I was all about the Mary Poppins thing.
I mean, like,
I was looking forward to Cherry Tree Lane. I thought that was a perfect addition to UK. I thought it would be.
We found the person. No,
Mary
I'm just joking.
Poppins is practically perfect in every way. So yeah. No, I think it is a natural addition to the UK area, and I hope that they do something with it at some point. I mean, I know that we've had Pooh at different times, but I mean, it's you can see Pooh a lot of places. I'm gonna say,
shows about that, yes,
right. So I wonder, like, I would love an enhanced meet and greet with Mary Poppins and Bert and the penguins. Come on, I could do this all day. So anyway,
I get it, and I mean, Diane's with you, Alfred's. I mean, the chat room's like, we got the Mary Poppins fan club apparently tuned in tonight. But here's the thing: is that you're going to have it like Moana's happening because it's got a ROI, got a larger audience to draw from. I know Encanto I haven't even seen it yet, but Encanto is going to have
hopefully
some kind of huge, whether it's Harmonious edition or something.
Well, that's actually a really good idea, Mike. You know what? We might have just called that an edition for Harmonious.
It's been talked about a lot of times. Glenn and Jim talk about all the time, but that's going to happen. But it's one of those things that, Disney at this point, I mean, that's why Guardians is happening, right? The coaster, like, it's because it has a huge franchise. It's got potential. It's got marketing. Like, it's got an automatic hook, where Mary Poppins, it would be cute and it'd be a great addition. I agree for the UK, but I think they got to look at, okay, where are we going to get our ROI first? I mean, that's just the world we live in with everything. I mean, when I think about, my small business, I think, I have things that would be fun to do and would be really interesting to do. And I think it'd be very creative to do, But when it gets down to it, a lot of things that I have to make business decisions are because it is going to offer a return on the business because it's a business. You're supposed to try to make money. I mean, that's the whole point of, you gotta feed your kids and, that kind of stuff.
And when they were planning the Epcot expansion, Mary Poppins Returns was very much it was very much being talked about a lot in the Disney, world. I don't mean like Walt Disney World. I mean like the gigantic Disney World, like it was a big thing. They were hyping the movie up so much. And they do that a lot of times with things, with movies and things like that. They'll decide, hey, we're gonna build this based off of this movie, and then the movie peters out a little bit, after the fact or whatever, and then you're not stuck, but you have something that's not quite as popular as maybe they had hoped. Which, unfortunately, I feel like that's probably what happened with this Mary Poppins expansion. Was they were all excited. They thought, oh, hey, we have our next big hit on our hands. And granted, it probably should have been, but it wasn't. I mean, you don't hear a lot of people talking about Mary Poppins Returns right now. So, I mean, I can see why they would scrap it if they decide to eventually do that. Would I love to see a Mary Poppins attraction? Yeah, of course I would. 100%.
I mean, I've never seen Mary Poppins in my life.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I don't know if it has the draw that Disney was hoping it would have when they were planning the Epcot expansion. I'm just gonna throw it there.
Because if you think about it, because I mean, we're running out of time here, but the thing is, like, Ratatouille is similar. They brought an attraction into a World Showcase pavilion, but Ratatouille was a safer bet because
it had already been created.
Right. And it's a Pixar movie, and it's like it's an animated classic. Like people, the kids all love it and the adults love it. And people watch it 1,000 times in their house. The people that grew up watching Mary Poppins are old.
Well, I mean, there are kids that
also have the money though too, but I just think it just doesn't have the same.
I think Mike just called me old.
I think he did. Yeah,
we're all the same age.
I think he did. I mean, I'm 10 years younger, so I've seen Mary Poppins a fair number of times. Mike Rollman, thank you very much.
I'm texting your wife right now.
Exactly.
I know, like it was a Walt thing too. I mean,
it was a Walt thing,
but I'm just saying, like, this is where Disney is now. They're going to be leaning more towards Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel than a Mary Poppins. I mean, that's just the decisions that are going to be made.
Absolutely.
They're going to be Moana is going to win out over Mary Poppins 10 times out of 10 in this business right now.
Absolutely, 100%. You are correct. So I mean, and again, I want to reiterate, this was never announced as a ride. It was always announced as an attraction. Same as the Moana thing. The Moana thing will not be a ride. It will be an attraction. It was probably going to be very similar in scope. If they're going to build a Mary Poppins attraction, I would rather see a full-on ride, and that wasn't going to happen with what they just announced. Right. So,
I'm all about it. Wish every World Showcase pavilion had a ride. That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
More for us to do. And I'm catching all kinds of heat here.
You are. That's okay, Mike.
For the record, I don't like musicals. Just for the record, I don't ever watch a musical. When people start singing, I turn it off because I do not like any musicals. I do not watch them. That's just me. I bet you guys don't watch sports 7 nights a week and for 8 hours a day.
And we just lost all of our listeners.
We love Disney, but we all like different stuff.
You are right. We like very different things as Disney.
When everybody was watching Hamilton, could care less. I don't watch. If you sing, I do not watch.
I'm gonna break out in song now, Mike Robin.
That's why I watch Mary Poppins, because like the penguins are all singing and stuff. Like I will watch like some
Mike
movies.
Robin is a funny duddy.
It's just like borderline a movie I'll watch because they kind of dance around and sing, but it's like an 80s movie. So anyway, enough of that. But I would like to see it happen. I think where Disney is right now, the things that are newer are going to win it, and they're just going to look at the box office numbers. Like Moana was a blockbuster at the box office, and I know Mary Poppins was too back in the day. That's where I'm kind of confused, but we'll see. We'll have to see. I'm just saying. That's just me. I mean, this is Mike in the Midwest. This is the Patreon team. I'm just saying, I like sports. I'm not wrong or right. And you guys that like musicals, that's right. Your thing. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there is. It's just
it would be great.
And I'm sure baseball for you guys so there you go.
It would be great if they honored Walt's Mary Poppins, but that's not what they were going to do. They were going to do Mary Poppins Returns, and I just want that to be out there. It was never going to be Walt's Mary Poppins. It was always going to be Mary Poppins. Based
Not
on
true, because it was Cherry Tree Lane.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
Mary Poppins.
That's Mary. Yes, I get that, but that was also very heavily featured in the Mary Poppins Returns. So I'm just saying, I highly suspect it was never going to be Walt's Mary Poppins. It was always going to be Mary Poppins Returns.
So we got to get out of here.
All
I
right,
just want
we've
to say,
made enough people angry tonight. It's fine.
Roasted. I love you guys.
It's been nice doing a show with you guys.
I'm just saying, here's the deal. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anybody that likes me. I understand that. I mean, my family, they like, some of my members of my family love musicals and watch this. I can't get into it. Like, there's just certain things I can't do, and I can't do musicals. I don't tend to watch cartoon movies, and it's weird because I love Disney, but I don't like the movies for the most part. I just like going.
We have
to the
given him trouble about this in the past for new listeners.
And this is how I am. I love Walt Disney. I love the Disney destinations, but I don't necessarily watch the movies. But it's okay. And if you don't like sports, I'm cool with that because it makes my seat cheaper.
I don't expect people to like what I like. I mean, I think it's interesting. It's what makes the world go round. So we'll see.
That's exactly what I think. And that's what makes it interesting when we all meet up. Like, I can talk to you about it. Like, I mean, and the thing is, because of the community, like, I know enough about all these things because I hear everybody else talk about it. The funny thing is, like, if you're in Disney Twitter, like in our community, like, I know about a lot of these things because the people that like this stuff never stop talking about it. Just like, if you hate sports, the first like 6 minutes of today's show, like, you're like, who's Albert Poole?
Why are they talking about this? Yes, this is true.
Totally do. So I appreciate you hanging with me talking sports, because I do that all the time for the first 5 minutes of the show. And God bless you for doing that with me and sticking with me. And I will try to do better and watch some of this stuff. So I have Disney Plus, and I have not turned on Disney Plus probably in 9 months.
Oops.
I have not. Because the only reason I have it is because it's easier to watch the Star Wars movies.
Oh, my goodness.
The only reason I have it. I have all the DVDs, but I don't have the DVD player hooked up. And the thing is, too, remember in D23 when they offered like a 3-year plan for like one chunk?
Yes.
Like, I bought it that time.
Yes.
But I don't know that I'm going to renew it.
Got it.
It's been 3 years.
Not yet. We're in the middle of year 2 in the 3.
So, yeah. Like, how long does this last?
You're in between year 2 and 3, so you're halfway through. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. All right. Anyway, so I'm not trying to offend everybody. I love you guys. I'm just saying, have mercy on me. I just haven't yet in 48 years got into musicals. So that's me. All right. So anyway, today's show, treading lightly. Pam's like, please don't say this. Brought to you by the
Look, there was no smacking on this show, so I consider that a win.
Yeah. We kept it verbal. We kept it verbal smacks only today.
How we did not punch Mike in the face in the middle of this, I have no idea.
I have no idea how this show got so derailed. I mean, dude, we asked one last question and it just got all a mess. Anyway, so the Magic for Less. We'd love to help you plan the next trip, whether you're headed to the West Coast, the East Coast, Disneyland, Walt Disney World. If you want to go out in the water, Disney Cruise Line, or even all around the world, Adventures by Disney. We'll take great care of you. Cost you nothing extra. First class service. Check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon, and become a patron. You get to find out all kinds of crazy stuff about me over at Mike in the Midwest. That's what our patrons get every week. And you help us put this show out 3 to 4 times a week all around the world. Come on over, patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. This is why I don't have anybody else on that show, because it'd get me in trouble. It's just me, and I tread lightly over there. Okay. Also, don't forget to follow Ricky at Ricky Nibs on Instagram and Twitter. Pam's at TMFLTPam. Follow me at Be Our Guest Mike, because I'll be at Walt Disney World this weekend at all the races. Safe travel to everybody coming down. No live show this Sunday night, because we'll all be down at Walt Disney World. Scott and I will be. Everybody else will be back home, but I'm at the master control, so we'll do one the next week. So just hold off 1 week. Okay, until we get back together again on Friday, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Let's save that one. Ooh, that took a wicked turn.
That took a big turn.
Yeah.
By the way, my cat is over here snoring, and it's the cutest thing. You guys can't hear it, but I can.
I still don't like musicals.
Mike, you're gonna get punched, dude. I'm just saying. I will sniff you.
Never seen Oklahoma. Never seen The Music Man.
I haven't seen those ones either. Actually, I think I have seen Oklahoma. Now that I think about it, I think I might have saw it at the Muni long time ago.
You know what? Though I did see That is hilarious. I did go to the Muni to see Mary Poppins. Remember we had a BOGP meetup there. I don't remember seeing it though. I don't know why.
You know what's funny? A long time ago, I went to see Annie at the Muni, and it had Rue McClanahan as
my gosh,
as Mrs. Hannigan, right? Wait, is that right? I haven't seen it in years. So
how crazy is that? We had a podcast meetup at the Muni,
true, you did.
which is our like outdoor theater in St. Louis.
You did.
And we were probably like 70 of us that watched. Were you there?
No, I didn't live there.
Tim Taylor put it together, and like Mandy, Dale,
yeah.
and a bunch of people. Like we raised money for Give Kids the World, and we all watched the Muni. I remember like it was hotter than smoke. It was like in July.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Wow. We all met up and watched because we had a podcast meetup at like on the golf course there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Alfred's right. No more questions from Alfred anymore. We're done. We're done with Alfred questions.
So I'm gonna have to reset this because I'm having some issues here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see if I can reset this real quick. So hang on, everybody. I'm gonna see if I can reset this. If not, we'll see what's going on. But